Hello, everybody. Brian in this video here. Uh, just wanted to go over what the latest development is. Of course, everything changes very quickly. I've been looking for market data for the last number of days, specifically, obviously, for futures and options. Um, my original thinking was with IQ Feed. From what I saw, they wanted 388 USD per month, which I thought that can't be. But anyways, I started looking at the brokers. Remember, I'm Canadian, but I can have access into the US brokers, which is great. I have looked at a bunch. The top two, as far as I know, first it was Iron Beam. They said that the fees are fairly high with free data, but that doesn't really mean anything to me. The other two options was Optimus and AMP. So I went with AMP. Um, there's all these different platform options. What I'm going to show you is Quantower. It's pretty powerful. I was impressed in a very little amount of time. I played with it. And Optimus, they have their own platform called Optimus Flow. That is also built on Quantower as well. So as you know, I have worked with TradingView in depth, and I have also worked with um, MotorWave in the past. So the way it's looking, I will not be renewing if this pans out as I hope. I will not be renewing my TradingView. Okay, I just don't see the point of it. Um, as you know, I'm really into futures and options only. I don't want to do a crypto thing. I don't want to do stock or equity. Um, just want to do options and futures. That's what I've been doing all year. A lot of research, especially with the AI models, all that fun stuff. So Optimus was kind of like a lightweight. It felt it didn't feel right. It just felt like they're not as a big operation as AMP, who seems to be a lot more um, bigger, a lot more options. But they got over 40 or 50 platforms. I went with Quantower because everywhere you go looking, it's Quantower with AMP. So here I am. As far as I know, when it comes to market data for the CME, futures and options, they have the data bundles. I can't confirm this yet, but it sounds like it's going to be under $50. And then on top of that, you pay your commission fees. As a result, I'll probably keep my interactive brokers open. It's a real pain in the ass to work with interactive brokers. Um, as I said, I'm gonna be moving off of them from, I believe, quite possibly. And as I said, just focus on futures and options. I'm not. I don't know. I think I'm gonna try to keep my interactive brokers open. It's a pain in the ass to reopen it. I just lost my Coinbase, and I probably lost my funds with it. I haven't used it in over a year. Coinbase, I don't recommend. My Kraken's still open. Been very happy with Kraken. Anyways, that's for crypto. Anyways, let's get into this. It's enough of jibber jabber over the last 3 minutes. Okay, so when you create your AMP, um, I haven't signed up to AMP at all. Okay, AMP futures. Obviously, they do carry support options as well. Um, the thing is, as I said, I have a 28-day trial with Quantower. As I said, I'm not really formally signed up for anything outside of my email and my name. So you could do it way, I'm just saying, you know what to do. Anyways, so there's that. Quantower is pretty simple. It's kind of like where MotorWave was a few years ago. They had a lot of connections. The MotorWave 7, it seems they've trimmed down a lot of their connections. So there's that. A few things with MotorWave, it's Java, and with Quantower, it's C Sharp. And for me to switch over, I've always been years ago with C Sharp. That's not a huge deal. I'm going to tell you right now what I've seen so far. It's been really easy with Quantower. Okay, first thing is when you look for Quantower, just do a search on YouTube and you just look for Quantower Visual Studio 22. That's a current version. 25 is on its way. They do have a video showing you how to do this. Very simple. It's 5 minutes long, as you can see here. I got it working. Let me show you what I got. So we've got the Quantower right here, um, with the chart. Blah blah blah. Where's my chart? Right here. Okay. I don't really know Quantower. Pretty. It's similar to Motorwave, but vastly different. So far, I just cared about making sure I can build an indicator or what they call an algo, and then connect it into uh, the Quantower from Visual Studio. And that's not Visual Studio Code. It has to be Visual Studio prior to Visual Studio Code. Again, do I look like I'll be using? I love JetBrains, the IDEs. I like the C line. I like the other one, PyCharm. But as it stands, Visual Studio Community, it is. So in here, it was so straightforward. I was just blown away. I've used Visual Studio before. Um, so what I've done is I've created this. You watch that video, it kind of goes from end to end, pretty straightforward. You might even include that in my blog post. But here in the solution here, C sharp, we just have a basic quant. See, there, like it's so good with the extensions that there is a Quantower. You can see right there, Quantower indicator. I'm sorry, Quantower extension. It's so easy to install. It blows my mind. So we have that installed. Just point it to the start link thing in Quantower. Very basic, easy to do. Unlike, I was also going to go with Sierra chart. I just read this long ass thing about C++ and Visual. It was just I just couldn't do it. Sierra chart I looked impressive. I just didn't want to go back to the 1980s and how complex it was and blah blah blah. I just didn't really jive with it. So I just went with the C uh, and the Quantower and AMP Quantower. And I also must state that with AMP Quantower, it's free. The only thing you pay for is either your data or your commission. So you're getting the platform from AMP Futures for free. That's the edition of Quantower. Quantower on its own is about $100 a month. So you get the full unrestricted version of Quantower. The problem, I'm not sure about the Optimus Flow. It didn't say it was a full version. That was part of the problem. I'm like going, is it a restricted version? I didn't know. I didn't go very far, but knowing with the AMP, here we are. So everything looks cool. When you create a new solution, which I'll just do right here, a new C# project. In here, it's so good. Um, you create an indicator, and in here you'll be able to find towards the bottom, and the video will show it. It will include all of the quant power projects that you can use. See, it's in here somewhere. You'll see it in the video, but I was able to find it. I think it's in the bottom. Yeah, here you go. So here's three different projects you can get. You have the order placing, one symbol strategy, and the strategy itself. And I believe there's an indicator somewhere in there as well. So I was like, tickle me pink. It's that easy. And you just click on what you want, and I'll give you the base template code to do that. Okay. That's kind of how easy it is. That's what I always liked about Visual Studio back in its day, unlike Visual Studio Code. I was just I can't deal with Visual Studio Code. Anyways, so we got that working. The other thing is when you build it out, as it said, it will ask you to configure everything. It's so simple. Quantower itself is kind of neat how it works. So if you're going to try to go through the traditional uninstall, if you wanted, You don't need to do that. You just go into your right here on your main drive, and right there, you just delete that folder for, let's say, Quantower, and that's it. It's gone. So it's all self-contained, which is really nice. You don't have to go through the usual, mumbo jumbo of going through the installer and uninstall. It seems to be better. Anyways, so you build the project here, and obviously you'll see it in that video. You'll get the succeeded video. Now this is even better, and I'm sure Motorwave is at this point where you just go your into your Quant Tower. Here's a chart, and here you find your indicators, and there's the indicator right there. That one right there, custom. So this is mine. Boom, boom, boom. There's my panel, like before in Motorwave. Um, Really easy. And then you just install it. Boom. And this right here is is the uh, the indicator itself. Voila. It's easy. I was like, it can't be. It's that straightforward. We actually have a company that makes it that straightforward, which is, in my mind, pretty cool. And so thankfully it still exists. Anyways, what we're doing now is with my stuff. If you go to quantlabsnet.com, a couple of things are happening now. Originally, if you want to book something with me, I'm going to still do that. Also, what we have here is if you want to know more of what I do, just go onto the email list here and fill out your info. You'll get on my newsletter. But one thing's coming, and it looks like I'm probably going to do it in the next week or so. I put out a poll, a little tiny set of responses came in and said yes. No one opposed. I was like, yay. So I'm going to probably go ahead and do this. Here, if you go under more on the site, just go under trials. Um, it's going to come for everybody. But right now, if you were on my email list, you just put in the password. I'm going to limit it to a certain number of people and give them a free 7-day trial to my quant analytics. It's just to see how they like it. There's going to be no programming as part of this. This will just be purely analytics, as the name says. Right now, for the first X amount, you don't have to put a credit card in. After that, yeah, you will have a credit card, PayPal will be needed to initiate the 7-day. And if you don't like it, just cancel within 7 days, like any usual standard, any standard membership when you subscribe. The thing is, when you get past that and you like what you see and you want to move into the world of custom indicators, the way I had envisioned it years ago with Motorwave is to do the same thing. Here we have the Quant Lead. I've got, I think, probably 150 projects in Python and C++. Right now, with the way this is set up, obviously it's C sharp. One of the neat features that I do like with Quantower, I didn't know, but it was there in Motorwave all that time. But with Quantower, what you can do is, and this is again according to the AI requests or prompts, you can set up an internal server, like a TCP/IP server, internally within in Quantower. And what you can do is you can build out Python scripts, probably C++ scripts, and you can actually download data from within Quantower. That's pretty cool. The thing is, on top of that, you can treat it as if you're going to go with interactive brokers and use the Trader Workstation software, the TWS, and have your scripts or your C sharp, your C++ or whatever connect into the TWS and extract what you need. As far as I know from the AI, it says you can do that. There are some example coding projects I've requested from the AI to see if it will work. So I have to create a custom piece of code that will reside in the Quantower, and then you have your scripts and your client code, including, I think, C++, to connect into it. So that's going to be my next big test. If I am able to do that, then we're off to the races. Um, and then what will happen is I can use somewhat all of the available scripts that I've put up last few months, weeks with Python and C++. They're all self-contained. The only thing you would need is the custom CSV files, and then I'll be able. I just generate. I have to test it still to be able to see if I can get it to connect into using Python. Let's say connect into Quantower, and then generate the CSVs that I want. The funny thing is, if I remember with Motorwave and their support, even though they're great support, they told me how to have one chart, one script or strategy relationship, one to one. With the Python with Quantower, I can have one Python script download as many available data um, instruments that I want. That's available through the AMP futures. So I'm going to test that, and if that's the case, again, we're off to the races where I can say, okay, here's the script, here's what you can download, here's what you can create for the CSV, and then use all the other scripts that I created to go crazy on those scripts. And then same, hopefully, with the C++ as well in Linux. Now, I would hope that maybe there's a way to do it. You can have the Python scripts reside in a WSL, Windows System Library. Sorry, Windows Systems subsystem for Linux, let's say in Ubuntu, and have those scripts sitting in that WSL connected to the host uh, Quantower. We'll see what I can do. It's not a deal breaker to have those same scripts run in Windows as well. I think it's not a big deal. And the other thing is, I'll get the Visual Studio community set up to where you can easily do all the modification with Python within the Visual Studio. So, okay, we've tested out the C line. I've tested out the PyCharm. Love them both. They're great. But everything does come down to the availability of market data and orders, execution of orders. And the way it seems now, as easy it comes to connect everything through Quantower and then execute that through AMP. I was probably going to do that with Rhythmic. I've tried Rhythmic, I think last year, way back when. I didn't like it. I didn't like Rhythmic. I did look at Optimus, CQG. They're only limited for Python, so they don't have the C++. The Rhythmic does support C++ in Linux, but apparently it's not kind of complicated. But screw that. Okay, like we will build out models HFT like, and down the line, if you're big enough with an account, yeah, then the real best option is to be able to be direct around the market of the CME. That's a huge account to do that. But for now, from a retail perspective, Quantower is fine. AMP is the most popular for the futures and options broker. We'll keep it at that. You may not need to move at all, but it's good to always keep the idea of the quant mindset when it comes to the modeling and the strategy development, along with the high frequency trading from the coding perspective as well, with limitations, of course. So this is pretty exciting, being able to just get to this point. And the other thing is, I may look into Quantower because they can have, like what Motorwave have, where you can have copy trading available. You could have all kinds of things. So that widens the doors a lot. So, and the other big thing I'm looking at is to build out indicators and strategies for Quantower in C Sharp, be able to build those out as well, and then be able to put them as part of the membership. As I build up more and more of those and use more and more of those, I think I'm going to have to boost or increase my price of the Quant Elite membership. So there's a couple of big things coming. We've got the free trials for the Quant Analytics. If you like it, then you can move into the Quant Elite Programming membership, and that's for the coders. So that's where we're going, because I do bring in both traders and we bring in the coders. That's for the Quant Elite Programming membership for the coders. But I'm going to have to charge a fairly significant amount to justify if I'm going to make available those indicators moving forward for Quantower. And again, this is only for futures and options. I've talked about that enough with why futures and options only. And from what I understand, you can open up an AMP account as low as $100. And then at the same time, you pay your monthly data fee. As I said, you might be able to do it under 50 US, and you get free Quantower. All right, the platform for free. Absolutely mind bending that this can be done. I was very excited on that. I've talked enough. Hopefully, you'll be excited what you're seeing here, and significant development for sure. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.